I wanted to start this year off with a little climate optimism, so I got this book, Climate Optimism. It is written by Zara Biabani, a youth climate activist, and I wish this book was available when I was a youth, finding my place in activism. It's really good, it's uplifting, despite climate usually being a heavy topic. It was a light read. I whipped through it in about a week. Highly recommend, especially if you're looking for something to give to someone struggling with climate anxiety or eco-anxiety. It really shows there is a lot of good climate news, which usually doesn't show up on our feeds now, does it? Anyway, I don't super agree with everything in the book, but that's more of an issue of nuance. And I think that if I actually sat down and chatted with the author, we'd likely be on the same page, so not a big deal. Still highly recommend, totally fantastic. If you are more into like the legal stuff, but still want it really accessible without like needing to study law or anything, this book is great, The Environmental Optimist by David R. Boyd. It's a bit older, you've probably heard of it, but if you're looking for some optimism and you haven't read it yet, highly, highly recommend. While I do agree with Mary Christina Wood, another one of my favorite authors, that it's easy to point to isolated successes from our current environmental regime to be like, it's working. I don't feel like this book does that. I feel like it's more of examples that we have successfully worked together before. And while yes, it's been low-hanging fruit, like rivers catching on fire and, you know, holes in the ozone, we did all come together. And further, his more recent book really exemplifies that the current environmental regimes we have are not that great, because rights of nature is what he thinks will help save the planet. And I couldn't agree more. This is under the umbrella of Earth Law, and it is another really great, uplifting book full of examples of success. This movement is largely happening in the global south, and it's starting to creep up to the northern hemisphere, however you want to define those terms, which is really, really great. So we have, this book is also really good if you want a different perspective, mostly about the public trust doctrine and its usage for environmental rights and environmental protection, and creating a world in which the environment doesn't need protecting because it's respected. Also super, super good book. And I believe that the public trust doctrine will be a wonderful bridge to get us to Earth Law concepts like rights of nature. Kind of wrote a thesis about that, actually. But anyway, starting the year with climate optimism. There's plenty of enjoyable, easy reads out there for you to lift your spirits when you need it. And I find comfort in uncertainty, because if the future is uncertain, that means we can still do something about it. And many, many environmental authors are showing us how we can do something about it. So, Happy New Year.